Hello and welcome to the Due Process League Due Process Open, brought to you by Dreamhack. I am Rook and I am joined by Zach as we are bringing you the third and sadly final game of the night. And it is an absolute corker.
This is going to be an absolute banger of a match, I feel. This is Team Flogels versus Team Mazer. Both of these teams are known in the DPL. Both of these are very, very strong teams. The players are very good, so we're going to see some really high-level play. I don't think we'll see many mistakes out of these teams. This is going to be epic, I would say. So it looks like Flogels sitting with a win and a loss. And I'm not sure Mazer's record currently, but I'm sure they've been playing at a very high level as well. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see these two teams go head to head.
Yeah, these are two absolute titans of squads, and I think it really is going to be very difficult to really decide. And I mean, obviously, I'm very biased. I've been a big fan of Flogel since I first casted them. And, they're a very aggressive team who really like to set the pace of their matches. And here on home turf, they might be able to heavily leverage that one as they get right up and in your face.
I mean, knowing a little bit about Mazer, they're very skilled players. That is the one thing that Mazer is known for, is they are very talented with how they play the game, very precise in their aim. So that is the one thing that's Mazer's very well known for, is really high tier play. Planning, we'll see if they're just as effective. I think Flogels might have an edge on that, but it'll be interesting to see again what unfolds in these next set of rounds.
And it will be interesting to see the kind of maps as well. We see whether we have some of those more open ones where potentially those long angles really could wreak havoc on Flogels. I think that's the most disastrous situation for them. They want to be up close and personal, down and dirty. Reminded of very similar kind of situations. You were talking earlier about these less experienced teams that kind of rush on in, put a player into a room and try and take it alone like that. And that can sometimes be a real problem. Now, it's interesting you say that, because that seems to be the Flogel MO. They get really aggressive. They push up. They rely heavily off of the back of some fantastic individual fragging and the ability to refrag as well. They know if I rush on in, if I mess up these couple of frags, there's going to be someone rushing in right after me. They strike hard and fast, and well, it works wonders for them.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Mazer can deal with that type of pressure. I know that they play pretty aggressively as well. So, like I said, these two teams are just going to be hammering at each other, and which one's going to ultimately come out on top. Because yeah, both these teams really, really strong. A lot of good players on both of them. So it's going to be, like I said, this is going to be an absolute banger of a game, and I'm super excited about this.
So for me, I'm looking at players who I really want to see pop off. And if we're talking about long-range duels, they do have at least someone on Team Flogels, and that is Kuko. Definitely wins a lot of those longer-range fights and really does show up when I need them to. Now, for Mazer, who do you really think that is?
I gotta say that Mace is kind of a linchpin on their team. He is an absolute aimer. I've watched this guy just put teams down almost before, so he's probably my top pick. Omerta, I know, is their breachman, so he's going to be always on the action right away. He'll be the one to watch to get things kicked off. As for Roadrunner and Death, I know both of those guys are a little bit more play the support roles, but they always back up the team and make sure that the plans turning out in their way. They do have an addition on this match of Godspeed. He's kind of a little bit more of an unknown quantity. I know he's a very strong player himself, so a lot of talented players on that team.
Absolutely stacked to the brim, full of strong players. This matchup is sure to be very, very impressive. Just waiting for those players to get on in. And I mean, I really can't predict who's going to be able to win this one. You did kind of mention that it is two heavyweights kind of crashing. And while I believe Mazer are undefeated, Team Flogels have dropped the ball a couple of times. I do think they still have the power in them to strike back and take this. I think they're a team that you can never really truly count out, per se.
Yeah, I mean, it just means that Flogels has to step up into this. Again, I'm unsure of Mazer's current record. So, I mean, both of them could be, having something to prove in this game, but I just know that they're going to bring their best here. So, and that's what's going to make this so exciting. We find ourselves here on Kill House map, Bloodhorn. Large reception window to get in, free entries, lots of windows off a kitchen. I mean, this whole south end of the map is a very scary place to be a defender. You might be able to get a pick, but if you do, it might be at the cost of your own life. We do have this interesting setup here with the airlock running through the center. This means that one door always has to be closed and one will be open. So it's kind of like a transition room. It is bulletproof, so and charge proof. So you can't. This is kind of a solid rock in the center of the map.
And so it's kind of difficult to get that wall bangs, and it's always interesting to see. I do like that the reception and kind of kitchen as an extension is given away over to those attackers, and it does mean they have a bit of a staging room, but they always have to be wary there's no rotates coming through positions like club, and that, well, they can actually properly flush players out of lockers, because I do expect to see at least one player who'll be playing back behind said lockers. Office is in interesting shape, especially with these doors from airlock. It's going to be strange to see how that happens. If they can activate it and cut off airlock, that's a pretty easy position to really be holding, because there's no one who can really hide there. I think if the attackers can actually get onto this site, it should be relatively easy to hold. But there we see it. You're drawing your lines often down the map. That is the map where it's split. It's completely split along that axis. And those doors are going to be those big points of contest.
Looks like they've set up where they're not even really worried about holding the bomb. It's going to be a lot of wall bangs if they start seeing the bomb to get defused.
They certainly have the weapons for it. Dying Man ready and waiting to see if they do actually push on into airlock, I think, very sensibly. Right now, no one's too aggressive there. Roadrunner, please don't try and boot that one down. That sounds like a disaster waiting to happen, especially with Louis on the literal other side. Wall charges there. Flogel is holding their ground. Can they take him out? The molly is big. It's a lot of damage. They're sitting on the defuse. Flogel has managed to hide their position. Those wall bangs that you mentioned are coming out in full force. Frags come on out. Amerta does manage to get Flogel, but it's a trade out with Mace as well. Roadrunner falls, and now it's 3 versus 4. They've got to find a way on in. They have these angles, these walls that are open, but you got to be careful as well. Louis gets taken down. Death wide swings and absolutely claps him there. Ghetto putting so many shots down range to try and deny that one, and they've got to move. They got to haul ass. They got to get all the way around here. There's no opportunity as well because the airlock is closed. Kuko's got to start moving. They don't have the time to work for this. Ghetto's going to activate it. Airlock is going to open, but that's going to make things difficult as well. They're just holding the bomb. They cannot get Godspeed. And because they positioned themselves away from the bomb that you mentioned earlier with those wall bangs, they can't make it back in time.
They held right on this corner right here. There's again, once they closed this door too, it forced them to it stopped the bullets because the door had actually closed, even though that one side had been destroyed by the wall charge, right? It allowed them to actually sit when they closed the door behind the large metal door and just be able to defuse. So man, and like I said, you saw Mazer really get in Flogel's face. They stacked up on that door. There was even a Flogel watching them in the airlock. He was calling out what they were doing, but they immediately breached it, and they had really no way to follow up on that. Maybe a rotation could have helped there, but man, that was all in on that.
Yeah, and Mesa pick up that first round's response. We just saw this, man. We are back on Fortuna Eagle. Again, with the toxic, with the wall bangs that you mentioned before. You can play off towards this fan. That's always going to be very important. And a very poignant placement of Office here with a massive overlook over this bot.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what the attackers and defenders for these teams find most important, right? Where are the holds that they really want to try to hunker down at? And where do they want to try to ambush? You can see that Mazer is really looking at a heavy south push here in some way, shape, or form, using possibly grenades through the windows here. There are a set of windows that are down on the south side that they could get flash grenades, smoke grenades that allow their team to try to like rotate in, or coming off of fan to be able to, get some reprieve into in this southern area. But it looks like they want to take that south end of Sheldon.
It makes sense.
You can also see this defense here really, really well drawn out by Mazer, that there could be somebody waiting in this truck and they might check it on their way to the fan.
It's really interesting because Flogels had to deal with someone playing in the truck, and well, they actually had a very clutch moment where they completely shut them out, locked them down, and then won the remaining 1v2, and I believe that was Ghetto who performed that. Very aggressive plays and fantastic plays from them. So definitely expect that kind of shenanigans from Flogels. They've had it happen to them, and they're happy to do it back. Flogel, instead, playing the off angle. He's not playing that truck. He's not messing around there. He's happy to just wait in this position. This is kind of aggressive, though. Even if he drops this molly, there's going to be shots likely onto it. But they don't commit. It is going to be this fan push you were talking about before, and Ghetto is very much ready for that. You can see the molly in hand, ready to just drop it at a moment's notice. And the Murta is going to blow on through. There goes the molly. And they're happy to just wait for it. They were expecting that molly.
Muerta lurking up to the north, too.
Yeah, maybe looking to push through Toxic, but doesn't try and commit to it. They just swarm on in from that fan, and now they've got a lot of control. Kuko takes a bit of damage there, does not want to get caught out. The molly stops the push on the south here. You can see Flogel looking for an opportunity to try and catch him off guard. That's a fantastic nade. Mace just pops on off, pops down 2 players, and now it's 5 versus 3. Roadrunner even pushes aggressively, tries to deal with Louis, but Kuko on that back angle has to come up big. Tiger Man manages to squeeze Amerta out of that position and is now maybe looking for a couple of wallbangs of their own if they can get into the right position. But there it is. Death is coming for the flank. I don't know if Kuko expects it. Turns towards them. If they can take down Death, that's going to be important. But no! A disaster has struck. And now Louis has to try and hold this alone. Does manage to deal with Death. But unfortunately, with Roadrunner speaking back and forth, this is so difficult to play. Tiger Man takes down Godspeed. It's 2 versus 2. Can they play these angles? Can they play the long range? Roadrunner, again, returning in this angle, trying to contest it. But with shots trading back and forth, it's so hard to know. Tiger Man is slipping into this spot right now. Mace trying to get the shots on, trying to deny Louis, but there comes the peak. Tiger Man has to come up big now. Mace knows that that's where they're going to be coming from. There's not much time left. Tiger Man peeks on out, doesn't take down Mace, goes down instead. And that is the round again for Mazer as they move up 2-0 off the back of some stellar play.
Yeah, I feel like, Tiger Man had the 2K, but I feel like that rotation at the end just got him way out of position, and it left Louis like really alone versus 2 people. He had nowhere to go. They closed in on him as a solo, and he just had no backup there. Mace with a 3K on that round, man. Again, Maze are just really good at swarming after. Like, once the play goes off, you're gonna expect at least 3 members, on point, right?
Mm-hmm.
So little health was left on the Mazer team too. That was getting real close.
Yeah, a couple of different trades there for Tiger Man, and that really could have ended drastically differently. That could have been the 1v2 clutch. I do believe it, and we've seen, especially with the quality of players like this, you're going to see these clutches come on through because you give them an opportunity. One mistake really will set you on the path to destruction. Bomb out in Storefront. This is a Mega Saber, and it's not a map construction style that I've seen much of before.
Yeah, there's this is going to be the easiest play, obviously, if they do the Storefront. I think people are going to, Flogels is going to be aware of that. They're already kind of putting in to make sure that there isn't good rotates, so you can't really move in and out of arcade. Even if you do open up any of the Storefront, there still is this teller hole here for, to hold at, but it does kind of lock you in because this does not cover a bomb. This only covers Storefront, which means you'd be kind of stuck in there if you try to hold teller. I'm surprised nobody's really looking at this office push. I guess it's just a lot of doors. It's a lot of angles, and there's a lot of ambush potential. So
something I kind of like is, again, you see the attackers kind of looking at it. This line onto Shed. I think that's going to make a big difference. You can kind of hold down that, you execute in via storefront, you smoke off freezer, and then the only angles that you're really going to have to deal with, because especially you're most likely going to catch the arcade player if you put a smoke like this, is you have to deal with Teller. And then for the most part, bomb is pretty easy for you to take. I actually really like a quick, clean execute with a good smoke into this corner here. I think that is going to really be a linchpin of the offense because you just cut off so much with it.
Yeah, definitely.
Ooh. Arcade execute coming through here does prompt a molly in response. Tigerman still expecting maybe something in from storage into office here, and as a result is just waiting for that push. HE goes on in to try and deny that bar, but there's the second molly. They're happy to waste a lot of utility. Flogel is just waiting in the wings here, maybe expecting something from Shed. The murder doesn't even really contest it. I think very sensibly goes to that line. Ghetto finds that first frag. Roadrunner pushes up too much, and Ghetto finds the second, but the frags are coming through thick and fast. A good molly to deny Mace that push on through. Flogel is looking for the opportunity to maybe try and find a wallbang here. You can see Tigerman slip on through as you see Murta just continuing to contest Kuko. They do manage to execute in Godspeed. Benazon Angles, the newer player for this team, really is paying dividends. Flogel, however, he's keeping things away from now, giving time for Tigerman to push on through. He's outside. He's going to play through here. Mace manages to take him down alongside Godspeed, and Godspeed makes it happen. Can Tigerman win this out? Those walls, oh, they're going to be so hard to probably hold from Tigerman. If you peek this, Amerta and the rest of the gang are going to be fully expecting that one there. Tigerman has repicked. Position given away. No, that's a disaster. Murta finds it. Position given away from being outside. Tigerman is taken down. That's the third round in a row as the defense does not seem to be fitting Flogels right now as Mazer completely getting the read on them.
I mean, you watched Mace leading the charge with that shotgun. He was opening up doors. He was lighting up people in the freezer. Then you had Godspeed just falling in behind him, mopping up whatever was left, right? Like, Mace really, I mean, takes out Flogel in the color booth and auto shotgun versus, attacker shotgun. It was absolute disaster. I felt like Tigerman had a chance to rotate behind them, but I mean, the decision on the fly to just hold the angle and hope that nobody was coming through storage, he could have had a good flank there, but I mean, by then that's it. The damage is pretty much done.
Yeah. It was just that they got cleared off so quickly off of that position. It made things so difficult. And how do you really recover from that? It's a good question.
We'll say Mazer's attack is much stronger than their defense. So we might be able to see Flogel start picking up some rounds here. It'll be interesting to see if Mazer has adjusted their defensive style to make it more stalwart.
Yeah, they do. Some interesting positions where you can't really wallbang here. I mean, I'm intrigued to see exactly how this defense is going to work, because we saw last time you can get really separated from the bomb, and that could be a real problem for these defenders. And Flogels are very good at splitting people up because they often make very aggressive pushes that really do just divide you down the middle.
Airlock takes a lot of time for you to be able to use. So, I mean, a rotation, if you're in club, again, because it's splitting this map in half, right? The rotation is all the way through club, through reception, into kitchen, right? And then you have to go all the way around. So it's the shortcut is such a long rotation to try to get in. If they do use a wall charge here, which I don't think they are, it looks like they're just going to go reception and try to push green doors only. So
it does look direction quite a lot. That's a surprise that they don't go for any wall charge. I think that wall charge was a really good call from Mazer early on here, and if you're not going for it, I think you're going to struggle a lot, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a slog to get into that office. Again, a lot of tight angles, a lot of corners that you have to check. There's going to be a lot of crossfires here. So, and it's closer range. So it's the defender weapons are so much better at that close range.
They are, especially this kitchen area could be a real problem to push on in. You see this time, Roadrunner and Godspeed both sitting in lockers trying to deny that push coming on in, and already Louis just going on down. This is not the way you wanted to start. Flogel waiting on the other side here. Murta is right on the other side of that door. Shotgun line comes on in. Could lead to a lot of aggression, but oh, Flogel cut down. And the problem is youth there as the shots just ring through that wall. You have to be oh so careful here, because those wall bangs come thick and fast. And I mean, Maze are a team who are oh so happy to play that Murta still playing an airlock. The rest of the squad just happy to consolidate their positions. As you can see, even contesting lockers seems to be a little bit too much. You needed that wall charge, I do feel, but even then, if you'd gone for that, the spray would have come. We knew it was coming. Earth would have 100% capitalized off that. Smoke goes on in. They want to try and contest lockers, but they lose another player in the process. Ghetto apparently passes by Roadrunner like 2 ships in the night, and Kuko just does not know what hit him. There is at least 1 frag back here as, well, it's 2 in total for the attacking side, but this is a disaster for Flogels as now they find themselves in a very difficult position, as I think Ghetto might just be saving him.
I think he had enough. He's so low on health he can't do anything. Right, 3 full health Mazer players here. I just want to point out Omuerto was using this window to call out positions on the attacking team, and then his team was wall banging into kitchen.
Yeah, that was absolutely masterful from Omuerto, knowing how to call out effectively, really helping the team and playing a more supportive role, just letting the rest of the squad, Godspeed and Roadrunner, absolutely wipe the floor with Flogels as they overextend into that push, just go down ever so easily. I'm a big fan of Flogels, but they really just have not been able to find their way so far.
Yeah, I mean that map is quite the conundrum. It's very hard to play. I mean, like, unless you're going to use an explosive charge on that map, the green door push is so difficult, right? The window giving intelligence on where the attackers are, especially when they're doing a free green door push, right? You have got airlock if you try to go the other way, which forces you in this really tight, narrow corridor. And if there's a defender in there when the doors close and then he just chucks the molly in on you, I mean, like, it could do a lot of damage. So you're really hamstrung on that map as an attacker.
Yeah, you have to find some way to get around it. And, well, we saw just that from Mesa. When they used that wall charge, they went for something that obviously invested a bit of utility, but it's the only way you're ever going to find it. And, well, it's Flogels, normally a very creative team, not trying to think outside the box to be able to win that one.
Yeah, I mean, I think they were just, they didn't feel like they needed to use the utility right off the start, just save it for later. You know, I could have seen if they would have used utility, maybe it goes better, but I mean, that's still a difficult, play, you know. Mazer really had a good stalwart defense set up there. I am interested to see, here we are back on Fortuna Eagle. It's definitely looking like Flogel wants to do a dock push into office and try to take that as quickly as possible. I do have a feeling this is such a difficult push. I mean, these smokes are going to have to be on point or they're going to get shut down. If there's any barbed wire on these stairs, they're going to have to trudge through that, you know, to be able to try to take the dock, just because this is such a long distance. Meanwhile, you're probably going to have people firing down from office, people firing out from shelving if they can rotate through it. So I'm interested to see how Flogel can attack this south end of the map.
Yeah, this is a bit of a surprise. Now, I like Flogel for thinking outside of the box. I like that they try and do things which are very different and aggressive, but there is at least some credence to conventional wisdom. And I think the fact that 3 out of 4 teams so far are pushed from this very fan, maybe a little bit from Toxic as well, and maybe a little bit through Doc, I think we saw some of that, but mostly through the fan, is something to really keep in mind. And I think coming on into this and not doing that, they have hamstrung themselves a little bit. Roadrunner maybe not expecting this push. If they execute quickly off of the breach charge, maybe they find something here, because Death Mace and Roadrunner are not looking there, and they're actually quite exposed to that position. But I think Roadrunner heard it. I think they heard everything go down there, and, well, Flogel is waiting for the opportunity to just clack right on through, but Death is already watching that angle. Don't be surprised if a molly hits that dock as soon as the push comes. There it goes. Flogel just pushes on out. The molly catches him a little bit behind you is Mace. Flogel still manages to take one down. There's the execute. Flogel, thick and fast, just spread out onto the map, take control of office. Godspeed is down, and Well, Mace is the only one remaining. The molly cuts off a little bit of the angle of approach, but it's all too easy. And that is a classic Flogel round. And Godspeed, well, they just got right on in there and took him out.
With execution there, I think, I was gonna say there was a that smoke almost did them in, but it also allowed them to get into position quick and get those quick kills, especially up top on Muerta and Roadrunner. Yeah, really well executed. They did exactly what they needed to do. Definitely cleaned up a lot of that. Ghetto did recover the mop. So we are looking at Saber Mop on attack. That's going to be really scary for Mazer next round. So good for Flogel that they got their first round, and man, that was almost flawless execution.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. Really well played. And I said Kuko is good on these long-range power weapons. I mean, Ghetto is just good in general. This man is one hell of a fragger, constantly puts that pressure on, and I've seen him clutch it out so many times. And I know, for now, Flogel are behind, but it's only this first half that we've already seen so far. And again, they might lock out this next defense round, then they'll find themselves 4-2. That's not too bad a position to find yourselves. And if Flogel can just get their footing, they still really do have a shot here.
Yeah, it definitely take a little pressure off now that you got your first win too. You're not on the O, right? You'll be switching back over again though soon, which is a little bit scary because Mazer on attack is pretty scary. So we'll see what ends up happening here on this Omega Saber. Again, this map is, like you said, has quite the funky layout to it. Storefront pushes are almost, I feel, are expected here. We saw the arcade push earlier, which kind of gave you just a nice long lane. It gave you a room. They gave you a little bit of safety and cover yourselves while you could actually just hold from the backside. So, it really comes down to what Flogels wants to do here. It looks like they're going to maybe do double charge.
That'd be interesting.
Storefront and maybe a peak hole for freezer to just make sure that that's completely cleared out.
I don't think that's an awful idea, actually. I think that's pretty solid. The only issue you have to be kind of aware of is there's often a player. Well, we saw last time that Flogel themselves was having a player just outside of Teller. If you're not effectively clearing arcade, there are still going to be players sitting in arcade. And if you don't get that smoke into that corner that I was asking for before, that could be a real problem for you. And even regardless, spray on through, a call coming in from player and tellers, that's an easy way to really be ending out a round way too quickly, especially on this attack here, when they want to be using those long range. I think actually an arcade push would be the right idea. They have the Saber, they have the Morp, maybe put a player into arcade, have one playing Shed to maybe lock down a different angle. You have a lot of tools. You need to be effectively using them and playing for the strategy that will allow you to do so.
I do see the wall charge, so that is going to be placed on here. So it will be wall charge, door charge in some respect. So
they have the utility, you might as well use it, to be fair.
Yep.
But I do want to see them try and take arcade. I think that should be really important here.
I will say that they did not take the sniper rifle here, so it will just be Kuko on laying down snipes.
Maybe they didn't have enough ammo. Maybe they just feel like this isn't the map to really bringing those SMGs, and having Tiger Man on that DMR could be ever so helpful. Roadrunner still sitting in arcade. You see the smoke is set up for there. That's where they want to go. Flogel and Louis just push on in. Godspeed down. Death is just around the corner for Death here. Amerta trying to play those longer angles with that auto shotty, but just has to be careful. There it is, the tactical shotgun coming out from Flogel. He doesn't win it. Amerta takes him down, but Kuko strikes back and takes down Mace. Louis still sitting on the bomb, still waiting for an opportunity. The HE forces back Amerta, and he's the only one left now. This is a good execute from Flogels, and they should be able to lock this one out, baiting on the defuse, maybe pushing around on the flanks. Amerta is there with the auto shotty, but is flashed to high heaven. Just finds himself in such a hard position there. Easily taken down, and that is yet another Flogel special. The round is over in a matter of seconds, and maybe they'll clean up a little bit afterwards.
Real swiftly. When like you said, when that explosion goes off, they are on site, right? They waited, they made sure to just open the peak hole, to give Kuko maybe some shots at some snipe angles to pick some people off. And then they all just, stacked up and Got in before the mollies could even hit the ground. I think there were 3 players already in the storefront.
Yeah, sometimes, normally in this game, I look at it and go, counter utility is fantastic. It's a really go-to strategy. Sometimes you see it in other tactical shooters, but I think here it's particularly relevant. I mean, I think that mollies are kind of something that every team goes to. You see the util go in to blow open the door or deal with the barbed wire, you molly it. That's just the way you go. The problem is Flogels don't give you the time to let that resolve. And absolutely, as you said, they circumvent it by doing that. They put their own utility on in. They didn't even get that smoke down into arcade. The flashes just came, and, well, the players went.
Yeah, it was a really solid push by Team Flogel. So putting them at 4-2, so they're starting to claw some of these wins back that they really, really needed. This did go to. Oh no, we're still here. Oh no, we did do a round reset now. I think, right?
Round reset. That's one. Sorry, yeah. I said side swap, but well, we've actually stuck on the same sides, but obviously swapping around a little bit.
So maybe Flogel can keep this momentum up because they basically technically with this switch they ended up getting restocked again. So, it'll be interesting to see. We have a brand new map here on Raging Poseidon. Awesome name, as per usual. Vault in the center, which always makes a really interesting play. Vault door, when it opens, can actually block a path. It'll either keep this room closed, or it can actually block a rotate. So it depends on how the defenders really want to use this change of map device, right? This blocking off office means you have to take a longer path around. If it's closed, it means you get to, if you take a green door in, you have a direct run to the bombs. So it really depends on how the defenders want to set this up. If you want to leave it closed like that, then yeah, you're going to have to barb wire it, and then you can take shots off of the bar, right, from the bar. But then, it just depends on what Flogels is going to do here. It looks like they might be going with that club play.
Yeah, I mean, the club play seems like a reasonable idea. It means you don't have to do so much of the ringer rosy. That is often a problem with the vault map. You can just go straight on into the kitchen and try and either execute and then come straight back out, go back round. I do like that as an idea. The problem is it's the obvious idea, and that's never usually the best one. Because you can just get counter-strapped oh so easily, and that is exactly what Mesa are looking to do. The smokes come on in to really cut that off. It looks like they're just playing for map control right now, rather than playing for that. Emerta gets taken down as Louis makes it happen. Even with all the shots coming on through, I thought that it would be a death to Flogels first. They do lose Tiger Man in the end, but lost much more. Some HEs to try and clear out some of the util. Death is waiting at the back there. Flash goes on in. They want to be able to get forward. Flogels putting that pressure on, trying to take down Death, who has managed to slip on through somehow. Does finally get taken out there, but it's going to be control of the switch and maybe making sure there are no flanks right now. The door has actually been closed. I don't think they were expecting this. They're going to open it now, and Mace is going to be that big point of contact. If they deal with this guy, if they flash him properly. Oh yeah! Has to go all the way back round, but they will make it in time, I believe. They just move through lockers quickly. Mace gets completely destroyed there. Flogel short falls, but Roadrunner retreats into the vault. That is a fantastic flank. Godspeed might have just made it happen. Louis is so low, but does manage to finish it off. So little health on every single player right now. It is 2 versus 1. Roadrunner, he just needs to hold that angle. There is a flash left for Kuko and Louis here, but Louis is taken off the ball. On Kuko. Has to make it happen. Doesn't have a lot of time to work with as well. He doesn't have any other opportunity. He's going to have to go for this. There comes the flash. Roadrunner does look away, but might not have it. Kuko, he does land a shot. He will clutch it out. And that is the first round of this half going the way of Flogels. They have to be so happy with that one.
Wow, he must have 5 health. All he needs to do is get nicked by a bullet, and he won the 1v1. Wow, that flash... I was super worried he might get caught sneaking around that bar, but he got right to the corner, got the flash out, and was able to rush it right at the end. So well done by Kuko. Wow. Godspeed, surprisingly. Like, he ended up getting cut off there, had to actually rotate, got a pick. on a I wouldn't say he was out of position, but just on a lagging Flogel, that was kind of getting into that room, and luckily Lewis caught it and was able to take him out right after that. But man, averted disaster there, I think.
Yeah, that was kind of a little bit fine if your Flogels there, but luckily just about managed to scrape on through off the back of some fantastic performance and being able to win out in that very low HP duel where they were basically playing paintball, one shot and you're out. And with those rapid fire weapons, that can be ever so stressful. We are now on Raging Life, a bit of a different opportunity here for the factory. Still very open, but a very different placement of the bomb. It's now up in South Office.
This is so cut off from everywhere else. Crazy play would be green door if you still have wall charge and just get into the South Office and not even mess with the rest of this. But let's see what they decide. I think they look like they want to do this docks play. Apparently Flogel really likes that open space to be able to give them room to breathe, maneuver, and just take shots at people. So definitely looks like Flogel's going with that docks play for sure. It does look like they did mark this little X for possible wall breach. Yes, they are looking like they're going to do that wall breach play now.
Yeah. Always love to see these wall breach plays. They do bring another level of kind of adaptability to these teams, and it shows if a team is ready for a wall breach that isn't so obvious, like I think this one might not at least initially be. That really does show exactly what they're like. I don't know what the defenders are really expecting. I don't know what this thing is here. I can't tell. Maybe it's some kind of.
Oh, it's a walk. This is a walkway up here.
Oh, okay. No. I was talking about this little symbol here. I don't know what that's supposed to be. Is it supposed to be mace? I guess it's mace. And I mean, having a player on this bomb makes a lot of sense because there's going to be some. If there's a team who's going to rush by you and get control of bomb site, well, that is Flogels.
The play off of these windows in and outside of these offices is really intriguing to me. I'm surprised that nobody's chilling out in this north office, because you can get out the window and escape out through shelving, right? Or run along shelving and get back to south office and just try
maybe
to
have death play there instead. But I mean, I kind of get it. I guess he's looking towards Doc to expect something there. Yeah, it looks like it might be where the execute is. They were thinking about this wall play. Doesn't look like they're going for it. Is Flogel? I don't know what he's doing. He's getting his weapons. Maybe he's a little bit tired, having a little bit of a rest, letting his team do all the work at least at the start here. But it's going to be a Doc execute. Sadly, none of the execute we were kind of asking for before will be happening at all. Instead, it's going to be default and actually exactly what we're expecting here. Oh, how did Kuko even find that? So what you guys didn't see was below, at the start of this round, someone wrote, Kuko is cracked. They're absolutely right. This man hits all of his shots and completely flushes out these players. Roadrunner gets the good flank, though. Ghetto pushes on through, still finds them. And Death, even though they're firing shots into this position, it's not going to work out. Flogel is on the flank, is already in North Office, and is going to push on through, trying to deal with Death already. Takes him down! And what an execute. Flogel's just make the impossible, at least seemingly impossible, happen every single time. That Doc. There were like 4 players looking at it, and they still push out. There was a smoke, a molly, everything down. And Kuko still hits the shot and takes someone off the board almost instantaneously.
Kuko needs to change his name to Wesley Snipes because, he actually absolutely devastated a Muerta on the initial explosion of that door, found the target through all the way up the stairs in the office. Right, watching that, literally the angle where they were standing, and gets the immediate snipe. Wow, that was pretty impressive. Kuko, nice shot.
Absolutely. Really stellar stuff, and we get to see the final map of this game. We'll obviously go back to 3 more versions of it on the backside, maybe 3. We might go to that full time. I mean, to be fair, Flogel are a team that have played the most rounds in DPL because they have like 3 draws or something like that. They're a team that seemingly could not find a win until very recently, where I can't remember exactly who they took it over, but they took it over one of the top ranking teams in a very impressive fashion, especially in game 1.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like they've really fought back to tie this up. We find ourselves here on Operation Halfback Fist. Free storefront entry is glass on the ceiling, so we'll be seeing players running over. You're going to watch them run through the map very strangely at the start, but we assure you they're going to drop in through that window. It does look like they might be going for a shed push, possibly, or try to get into storefront and then try to take arcade. I think they're just very worried about the crossfire from freezer and arcade here. Wall charge play. Straight into storage. All right. They're circumventing having to go around any other way by just taking the direct route.
I think it's a good idea. Honestly, we've seen teams at least attempt that. It was a little bit messy, at least what we saw earlier today. But I do think it's a good strategy because it means you don't have to deal with all these shenanigans in arcade where you have to come around that corner and things can be ever so difficult. The teller position doesn't really stress you out all too much, and that bathroom, which is so narrow with all those little angles and those bathroom stalls to deal with, and the office with basically a natural bunk. I don't want to say natural because I guess it's just lined up of desks, which isn't particularly natural, but a bunker basically just waiting there, ready made for you. It's so difficult to deal with. If you blow open storage, not only do you stop this site from being cut in half by this big main cabinet, you open up and mean that there's absolutely nothing that arcade can really do apart from play through this one door, and the same for office.
Yeah, we'll definitely see who wins this game of tic-tac-toe between Mazer and Flogel.
I think that's
It's clearly being played on the top of the screen as well, apparently.
It is. But the real genius minds are in action right now. A smoke towards Freezer really does mean you managed to cut them off. Where is this wall charge right now? Where's it going? Is it not coming at all? They're just pushing through arcade. I was like, this is a really good strategy coming on in. Louis, pushing through that molly is not a great strategy. Mace even cleans them on up just with the floor, with the street sweeper. But unfortunately, as Flogel tries to push on in with his classic aggression there, does actually get punished quite heavily and doesn't manage to make a thing happen. But Kuko and Ghetto are still alive. It's 2 versus 2 and never count this man out. Kuko takes down Godspeed, and with the wall open right now and with arcade clear, as much as they don't know it, TFL really do have an opportunity to pick this one up. Roadrunner does not know what they need to do. Kuko is just pushing on through. Roadrunner is waiting in the wings. Kuko turns their back, eats a little bit of buckshot, but doesn't go down. 50 seconds on the clock. You can see Roadrunner returning towards that storage position. This is exactly where we want to see, but baiting on the bomb. Ghetto's going to get the spray. Roadrunner only down to half. Diffuse still baiting. Kuko backing them on up. Has all the utility in the world. Roadrunner is trying to push on in. Ghetto shuts them out. And, well, absolutely stellar stuff as it's going to be a 4-5 position for
Something
TFL.
happened there. I think there was a little bit of miscommunication or a mistake because Mace ended up shooting Death in the back as he was rotating through arcade, and I'm not sure exactly why. That definitely put Mazer on a back foot there. They had gotten those 2 picks in arcade. They had traded one, and then just Death going down really like that's an extra gun. That's an extra 100 health that you just lost. That was a big mistake on that map for Mazer. So hopefully they can battle back in this next one.
Hopefully, indeed. We're going to be going back to this second kill house that we had. Raging Poseidon, again, as he said, very cool name. And, well, hopefully for Mazer, they can calm this storm. They're back on the attack. This is where they want to be. They are so strong here. They just need to get another clean sweep, and they're in the clear.
I mean, this is kind of the bubble point for Flogel. This is a dire round for Mazer, so let's see if they can actually pick this up, because tying the game up feels way better than going to match point Flogel. So we'll see how much is Mazer willing to risk to try to get this win here for the first round on attack. All right, so it does look like there's proper defenses getting set up by Team Flogel. It looks like they're very much looking at what possibly calling what Mazer's play is. Just with the meager lines that we're getting on planning from Mazer. They do have to get this button here on the southwest of the map. Southeast of the map. That's going to be obviously to get the vault open so that they can get to the objective to start. That's where they'll be pushing to first.
Always important to get that one. If the vault is closed, you cannot get in there. It's simple, and you need to keep it in mind. And obviously, as I said before, that can often lead you to going for very ringer-ringer-rosy style plays. Now, this club entrance, which might be where they're going, is a good place to try and contest. I want to point out that TFL are not... Oh, okay, I was about to say they're not contesting it, but Kuko and Louis may be feeling like this is their opportunity. So, there it goes. There's the execute, there's the clap. And no molly, because they don't have Flogel up and in that position from Kitchen to try and deny. Instead, he's playing that a little bit more defensive, and in fact, they're going to open up the vault here. They'll be trying to bait something out. The flash goes on in. Kuko puts in a molly to try and deny, stops Mason pushing on in. Roadrunner is completely cut off, but they don't know that Roadrunner's there. They're not able to punish that effectively. Flogel still playing this close angle, trying to play from Kitchen. Ghetto wants to try and give some sort of help, but Emerta just pushes on through it, opens things on up. Realizes actually we don't need the switch. It's gone on in. Kuko's taken down. Ghetto has to come up big, but he doesn't find a thing. Louis and Tiger Man need to clutch this out now. It's 2 versus 3. They just do not have the control of the site or of the map at all. Tiger Man is trying to get some sprays on in, but defusing the bomb, they know they have to make that play now. Shots in Godspeed. Louis wants to find it, wants to finish them off, but the defuse is coming on through. They just can't get in position in time. Tiger Man spraying through to try and find something to take down a Emerta, but they don't have the time, and Roadrunner turns back, takes down Louis, nets the round and brings it back to 5-5. Mesa are not going anywhere, and the attack is sublime.
We'll say Flogel did end up taking out all of Mazer, though. Oh, Tiga Man just recovered the clacker. Oh, that could be devastating. That's why you just hide behind the bomb, make them come to you. But man, that defender's not good on attack. I'll tell you that right now. They once Lewis and Tiga Man had to actually come back and try to push in towards bomb. They just, oh god, they got cut down. Really good push by Mazer into that main room, even though most of the defenders were already like defending that room in particular, that club room. It really did force them to, Mazer ended up taking the angles that they needed to take to be able to win.
Yeah, and they knew we have to play around the objective. It did so to a T. I need to see a little bit more respect for that objective from Flogels, otherwise they might find themselves in a very difficult position. We're back here on Raging Life, and we saw a Doc execute last time. You can see Flogels very aware of that, putting down the barbed wire. They don't want to let anyone get away with their kind of shenanigans again. Shelving. Is there going to be this push from the fan? Is there going to be a push from Storage? Are we going to see any sort of change up? Because we still obviously don't know, because Mesa don't like to mark a lot of what they're doing on the map. But they're putting something on. Maybe they're going to smoke and push through Doc.
Maybe trying the same play that Flogels did here. Surprisingly, nobody wants to take that free green door north. It's again, there's a lot of high angles, which makes coming in through this north door very difficult off of these, positions here. You have to check those 3 corners. Very, very challenging for a team to do that. So I can see where they're just like, hang that, we're just gonna take Dock Store south. It looks like they're scared of doing the fan, even just because the defenders can get up on top of this runway. So there could be people hiding off of multiple angles watching that fan as well. So
Kuko playing in North Office, and you were asking before for someone to be playing in this angle. There's a lot of value to be found from it, so not a huge surprise to see it. It has 2 flares on them, expecting those lights to go out, because oftentimes if they push through Dock, which is what they're expecting, they're going to be able to get onto those lights in that left-hand side as soon as you enter. Flogel backing off, maybe expecting something from fan there, but still sticking towards this door that is going to be that big point of contention. Did Ghetto fire that?
He did. I think he was just checking it.
Flogel just runs across. Roadrunner slips into the truck. Flogel manages to run around, takes down 2. How does he get those? I think it was actually the molly which really did it there, and because they pushed on in through the smokes, that was easy to try and deal with. Roadrunner, Flogels, I know you don't know, but if you close the door on Roadrunner, I will scream. I will be so happy. Ghetto does go down. Death does manage to find a frag with those long-range weaponry. Trying to leverage that heavily. Louis still waiting in Toxic. What is he doing over there? He needs to get the rotate on. His teammates are also telling him that as well. Flogel looking to make these frags happen. Cannot find another. So it is 3 versus 2 and only 3 versus 2. Kuko's starting to move into position. The lights go out. And, well, Louis is still watching the angle, expecting to push on into South Office. Both of those flares thrown quite early here. There's nothing left later on into this round. Tiger Man is up on the edge here, maybe expecting someone to push on in. Roadrunner and Mace, they are biding their time. They only have one flash to work with. Kuko is not in the right position to deal with them properly. Wants to try and get maybe that flank on off. There comes the flash. Tiger Man is turned away. Man tries to land the shots. Doesn't really find all too much. Doesn't really stop them at all. Louis needs to start moving on in. Where? How is he underneath? I don't know what's going on there, but the bomb is getting confused. Kuko pushes up from behind, trying to find those shots. Mace has already taken out Tiger Man. Kuko tries to let it happen, but Louis can't do a thing.
Yeah, I think
okay, he's disconnected
a little bit, but I don't know what happened there. I think he's having a connection issue there, sadly. Dude, that play by Flogel though, holy moly! The bomb went off and he rushed it and dropped a barb on the door. Meanwhile, the smoke went out and then he threw a molly and it just barbecued a bunch of the attackers. Holy cow! Flogel has been trying to make that play work.
Yeah, that is.
Losing Lewis is a tough one though. That's
yeah, that could have been your round if you're Flogel.
That might have been the tide turner right there, right? Like, oof.
Yeah, especially because he was in the perfect position. They would have really had to deal with the crossfire as well from Tiger Man. Like, that would have just led to something. The flash comes on in. You see both of those players just ready and waiting. Tiger Man knew it was coming. He was turned away. He was fully aware of what was going to be happening, but just couldn't do a thing to stop it. And now we might find Flogel. This is actually the comfort zone for them. 6-5, they've been here before. They've done it. They know exactly what's up. Ties are how they live. Now, they just got to make it happen.
Yeah, this is match point for Mazer if they get this win, but I don't think Flogel's gonna, let them get away with that. So we'll see what's going on. Man, this has been such a good game, though. Each team executing at a very high degree. Maybe a mistake or two here or there. I mean, that does happen, but man, they're playing the speed at which these teams are both moving is pretty dang impressive.
Really is. Move fast and break things. That is absolutely the Flogels motto. On this defense, though, sometimes it's hard to do that, especially on maps that are so open like this in some of their angles. How are you going to hold storage? There has to be... I don't know if they've still got a wall charge. They do have a wall charge. This is likely going to be a way to execute on in via this storage wall again, and I think that's absolutely the right call from Mazer here.
It does have that wall charge picked up, so it does look like that is what they're gonna try to execute on. I'm surprised nobody's really. I mean, yeah, you're gonna lose the barbed wire, but just barbed wire this. Make them have to really fight to get that on there, right? Like jam freezer with a couple of people to watch these angles, right? Put some people on arcade and maybe even just hold from teller side because you can crossfire then. Just set up a nice little kill box would work really, really well for a defense here.
Indeed it would. Flogel is even waiting in that angle, fully expecting it in one of the safe spots, because obviously there's a cabinet in front, which means they're not going to be able to get exploded out of that position. Shots just raining out. You can see they're already trying to get some of those pre-fires that takes time, but for the most part, TFL not contesting a lot of these angles. Louis just happy to wait here and Teller. Players getting ready to drop one through. I don't think Godspeed is on the ground yet, still waiting for an opportunity to move on in as Death is the first to hit the floor. As soon as the boots are on the ground, they're looking for this info, trying to flush out some of these angles, taking control of Teller. As Louis, I don't think he's actually watching the angle. I think he's expecting Louis to push from arcade. If the execute comes on through, there's the door open. Flogel crosses. And the barbed wire is also there as well. Really well played. Flash comes on in. Ghetto and Louis under a lot of pressure here. Death is on the angle they might not expect. And Roadrunner is pushing on through as well. Oh, the HE! Death makes it happen! Brilliantly played. And now it's 5 versus 3. It's all down to Flogel, Kuku, and Tiger Man to clutch this out. Can they make it happen? Flogel has the auto shot. This is the perfect position to be in right now. Zamurta is still trying to cover from these closer angles. Zamurta is pushing on through. Tiger Man tries to deny them, but the flashes are oh so problematic. Flogel hits one, looking for more. Can he take down Roadrunner? He's missing the shots. He takes them. There's so much. Tiger Man falls, but Flogel comes up big. It's 1 versus 2, but the shots are there. It's the win for Mesa. They take it 7-5. Oh my god, Mesa clutch out their series and pick up the win.
Dude, Flogel did everything he could possibly do that round. The 3K, man, what a good frag though off of Arcade. Just, death. Just perfectly placed. Lewis and Ghetto had nowhere to go. But man, the push in, that barbed wire play after the explosive, wow. How ballsy to just, he's just ready to sprint across, chuck the barbed wire, and then threw a molly as he was like fade awaying just to halt the rush into the bomb room. Wow, what a set of plays. Whew, some high execution defense there from Team Flogel. Just sadly, it was not enough to evade the pressure from Mazer.
It really wasn't. Tragic to see. Flogel's just not quite able to win that one out. It was close, and as he said, a stellar game. All credit to Mesa for being able to pull that one out. Their offense is terrifying, and it was what brought them through there. I don't think they lost an offense round. Not one.
No, I don't think they did. And that's one of the things. Mazer's offense is very good, much like Flogel's. Flogel's offense is quite good as well. I think Mazer just got some good, they were just able to pick up a defensive round here and there, and that kind of what gave them the edge, right? That one map with the airlock, right? That kind of was just a slaughter fest where Flogels was, Flogels seems best when they're able to speed push in, get their corners, get their picks, drop the players and stuff. But as soon as they get bogged down, that one map kind of sticks out in my mind where Flogels, they couldn't speed push through the map, right? And that's where they weren't able to get, the exact positions and picks and everything that they would plan usually.
Absolutely. And I mean, again, Flogels, as they are a team that is strong on the attack, the defense generally is that little bit more difficult for them. And as much as we did see them take things very close, sometimes their road rotates. They are an aggressive team and things can get sloppy, and they got caught out in those situations. Yeah. Sad, but still very admirably fought. I mean, they're still in the tournament. They still have another day left, don't they?
Yep, absolutely. And like I said, they're playing great. Right. So, I mean, again, there were rounds that they could have taken. There was a couple 1v1s right at the end, which they did. They did get a clutch out. So, I mean, some of it was of luck of the shot, and then others was, stronger plan. Right. So, they're a really, both teams really, really good. We got a great set of games. I think both teams shined in certain aspects. Both teams have really good counterplays. So, yeah, it was a fantastic set of games to watch.
Absolutely was. And if you want to see more fantastic games of due process, well, you are in luck. We have another set of games tomorrow starting at 12 p.m. Whatever midday is, midday EST. So obviously go into your browser, search that up, whatever your time is. I'm going to have to do that as well. I've got call time. Going to have to be there. I know it's a real problem, but you will be stuck with me yet again. But yeah, more due process, more of the top teams that you know and love. Thank you very much for watching the Due Process League's Due Process Open, brought to you by Dreamhack. I hope you all have a wonderful evening and good night.